Okay. Up to now, we've been talking about this week's Mashiach. Of course, that's the main topic of what the Rebbe is talking about. But he's talking about how it is that what's happening now in this week, and especially this Shabbat, is really, really a sign of Mashiach coming. Now, Mashiach is not just this fantastic idea or this fable or something like that, or the cherry on the cake. The main thing. Mashiach is the essence of reality. Mashiach is the essence of reality. The idea, true, it's been hijacked by these different religions like that, but that doesn't detract from the fact that the Mashiach is true. Maybe we can say that's one of the reasons for the success of these other false religions, that they talk about Mashiach, and this guy is the Mashiach, and that guy, because the fact is the world really does need Mashiach. It's really, and nobody else is talking about it. So without any, how do you say, so people grab it, what do you say, it's straws. It's straws. My father used to tell me a joke. My father, a blessed memory, he used to tell a joke. He used to say that was a man went into a bar and he asked the bartender, listen, can you tell me, I love to play cards. Is there a card game anywhere that I can join? And the bartender said, yeah, listen, 2 doors down, there's a card game, but it's crooked. It's crooked. You'll go there, you'll lose all your money. The decks are stacked and crooked. You'll lose everything. He says, oh, thanks for telling me. The guy leaves. The bartender finishes the day. He closes the bar at 1 o'clock. He goes out and he sees there's that fellow, the same fellow sitting on the curb. He's crying, weeping. He says, what happened? What happened to you? He said, I lost all my money. They took everything, my house and everything. I've lost everything. He said, where? He said, in the card game. He said, but I told you it was a crooked. He said, what can I do? I just love to play cards. Love to play cards. In other words, he had to play cards, so it didn't make any difference. It was crooked. The same thing. People need Mashiach. They need Mashiach. This whole religion, Christianity, whatever, they totally corrupted the whole idea of what it is. But what can I do? They need Mashiach. I need Mashiach. So it's a crooked game. I need Mashiach. So the Mashiach really is the essence. Mashiach is going to be like Moses was to the Jewish people. He took the Jewish people out of Egypt. They never would have dreamed to get out. They never dreamed. They had no idea who they really were. They thought they were slaves. That was all that they said. Their biggest hope in the world was that they would be able to find enough straw or whatever material to make enough bricks. That was their whole dream, right? I had a good day at work today, right? Found all my bricks. And oh, that's so wonderful. We're so proud of you. That's what they thought a Jew is. And suddenly came along Moshe and said, no, your job is you're supposed to be not servants of Paro. You're supposed to be servants of God. You're going to fix up the whole world. The world is going to be perfect. It's going to be beautiful. People are going to be healthy, happy, productive, positive, the whole world. That's your job. Moses had to do it, though. Moses had to do it. And the first of the 10 Commandments is, I am God that took you out of Egypt, to tell us that it's not just a history lesson, that it's going to happen again. And that's the idea of Mashiach is going to fix up not just the Jews, he's going to fix up the whole world. And not like Moses, that the Jews, in fact, were not fixed up. They had the opportunity. They were out of Egypt, but they didn't utilize their potential. And Mashiach will make that everybody will. So therefore, Mashiach is a very essential thing. Says the Rebbe, this is a preparation for the coming of Mashiach. What's the preparation? First of all, there's going to be, in this week's Torah portion, the whole thing is hinted at. Number 1, going out of Egypt. Number 2, the splitting of the sea. We just finished seeing. Splitting of the sea means the revelation of God. And also there was the war with Amalek. Amalek is a nation that hates God, the source of anti-Semitism, hates God, source of Jew hatred. Jews are God's people, whether they know it or not. And Amalek is a nation, and it's also an aspect of everybody's personality, including Jewish personality, that hates God. And that's also the idea of the giving of the Torah. The giving of the Torah, it says, and in the future, the Torah will be given anew. It'll be like, what do you say, a second honeymoon. And not that a new Torah will be given, but everything will be renewed. We'll feel the essence of God. And of course, the idea of going into the land of Israel. Going into the land of Israel means revealing God in the physical world. If we're going to add on that everything we said before is also stressed in this Shabbat. And this Shabbat is called the Shabbat of song, Shabbat Shira. And in this Shabbat, we read Parshat, this week's Torah portion, which is Bashalach. And in it is the song the Jewish people sang when they went across the sea. The whole idea of singing a song, Shabbat Shira, this is all of the ideas. What is a song? A song is going up and coming down. A song, a voice undulates, right? And also a song is a melody. Coming up and down. It says a song that's called going up and coming back. Like it says by the angels, all of those who sing go out with song, and they go out and they come back with song. This, of course, is taken out of context. It's a Mishnah in Shabbat. We talked about this before. It says that it has nothing to do with the angels or anything. The simple meaning is that your animals are not supposed to do any work for you. You cannot put a burden on Shabbat. You cannot put a burden on your animal and that he should carry it for you on Shabbat. Forbidden. Your animals cannot work for you. Your animals, your servants cannot work for you on Shabbat. They're not allowed to work for you on Shabbat. It says, but if the animal goes out, you're not supposed to put a burden, but if the animal always goes out with a ring around its neck or in its nose, if it's always a ring is called a shear. The word shear means a song, but it also means a ring that goes in animals, around the animal's neck, whatever, in the animal's nose. It says this, if all animals that go out with a ring, right, all animals that always go with a ring, they always have a ring, they can go out with a ring, they can carry it in the public domain, and they can come back. Also, usually you can't carry things, and you can come back with it. That's a simple meaning. But the Hasidic meaning is that anything that sings, the angels especially, and also people, like the Jewish people, they sang when they went over the sea, they go out of themselves, their own little consciousness with a song, and they draw godliness down by means of their song. Alpia, you do it like it's known, that all this idea of going up to God, basically what it means is making yourself a vessel for godliness. That's what it means, going up. Like you go to a higher level of mathematics, or what does it mean? That you just train yourself to become more of a vessel for mathematics. You go up to a higher level of musician, the top, right? There's musicians that they make a performance, they get paid $100. There's musicians, they make a performance, they get paid $100,000, right? Amazing physicians. What's this 1 second? Hello, אני באמצע לתת שיעור, אם אתה יכול לצלצל בעוד 40 דקות. בסדר? 40 דקות. תודה. Okay. And the Jewish people, when they traveled in the desert, they made 42 journeys. The 42 journeys are elevations going from Egypt to the land of Israel. And these 42 are also mentioned in a prayer we say every day. There's a prayer which is called Anu B'Koach. There's 42 words. Similarly, also, there are 42 journeys that they took. This corresponds to one of the names of God, which is an elevation from below to above. In other words, like I said, an elevation means opening yourself more and more to godliness, to receive godliness. That's the 42 elevations by means of refining the world, refining what's called the sparks, which are in the desert. Nowadays, we Jews are also in the desert. In the desert, we haven't been here for 40 years. We've been here for 2,000 years. So it comes out that the Shabbat Shira, this Shabbat, when we sing, it's the Shabbat, not we sing, but we read about the song of the Jews, that this includes all of the elevations which are being by song, is included all of the elevations by means of these 42 journeys in the desert, including all of our deeds and all of our service that we have served in the whole time of exile. which the exile is basically since we left Egypt. So the time of the first temple and the second temple is also included in the exile time. And it was until Mashiach is revealed, we're in exile. So true, when we were in the first temple and the second temple, godliness was revealed, and it was almost like the redemption, like the future redemption, right? But we see that it wasn't. That's why the temple was destroyed. And after finishing this service of refinement, all the details of the 42 journeys that they took in the desert, which include also this Shabbat Shira, then we come to what's called Shir Chadash in the future. All the songs are Shira, that's feminine. That's what we do from below to above. In the future, there will be a new song. Shir is masculine. The hey after it makes it feminine. Shir Chadash, God will do the singing. The song will come from above to below. It says in the Mechilta is a midrash. Eser Shirot Haim, there are 10 songs. In the Torah, you can find 10 songs. The first of them was when the Jews went out of Egypt. The first one is when they were in Egypt. You have to look in the second one was when they went out of Egypt on the sea. Like it says, then Yashir Moshe. Then Moses sang with the Jewish people. The sixth of them, Ashishi, the sixth was said by Dvar and Barak. That was in the time before the first temple was built. Dvar was one of the judges, the Shoftim. That was the ninth. That was the sixth. 10 altogether, right? So the sixth of them was with Davar Barak. Like it says, Batasha, Devorah, and Barak. That's after they defeated. That's the Haftorah of this week. The 10th is going to be sung by Mashiach in the future, Lasid level. Like it says, Shiru LaHashem, Shir Chadash. Let us sing to God a new song, Shir masculine. Call the Shirut, all of the other songs, the other 9 are in feminine. Kashem, just like Shen Nekeva, just like the woman gives birth, also the woman gives birth, also all the salvations that God Avru Haya Achareim Shibud, just like a woman, she gives birth, so she again becomes pregnant. After the same thing as all of the exiles that we had, and we got out and we sang a song, but after that we went into exile again. We again became fetuses. But it says that Aval Hachua, but the future redemption, that after it, Sheliot Ein Achareh, that after it will not be any exile. That's going to be the number 10. Then it's said in the language masculine. Masculine means there's not going to be any more fetuses, no more concealment. God will reveal himself. That's why in our prayers, we call God masculine all the time. Baruch Ato. We don't say Baruch At. Why? Because God is masculine. God comes from above to below. That's the blessings from above to below. And we, Jewish people, were like Mother Earth. We receive. One of the differences between the 9 songs that the Jewish people sang in the time of exile, that they're all feminine, and the 10th one, which will be sung by God, that's the 10th one. That'll be masculine. Shebeshira, that songs feminine, you can feel that the main thing is from below to above. What we're doing. Shitkabel mitzad atzmo. I'm sorry, Shemakabel, that the receiver, this world, the Jewish people from below, the Jewish people are also called God's wife. That the world from below, mishtokek, it desires, umitkageya, and longs to go out of its level and to be included in a higher level, which is not the case. Sheer masculine song, which is going to be the 10th one, masculine. Nirgeshet beikor, the main thing that's felt is not the Jewish people's longing for God, but God's longing for the Jewish people, a revelation from light from above. from above to below. When God is revealed, then there's no more longing. There's a unification. But then when God is revealed, then the marriage really works well. Sha'al Yado, by means of it, is made clinging. The Jewish people and God are unified. Kolomer, in other words, even though that it's called a song, a masculine song in the future when Mashiach comes, that the whole thing is, and a song usually is from below to above. Song, we're singing. And what does it mean that God is going to sing? It'll be a song that we will feel, lo kokach, not so much our longing for God, but mainly hadvekut, God's unification with us. God revealed in the world. By means of this, yes, there is a my love. There's the how do you say the good quality of from below to above, namely our longing for God, and also milamayla lamata, God's longing for us together. Or in simple English, God answers all our prayers, and God answers prayers that we should have prayed, that we didn't even know we need, things that we didn't even know we need. We have no idea how much we need God. And only Mashiach will be revealed. Mashiach is the matchmaker. And that's going to be the final song. Yeshlomar, we can say that Shabbat Shira, that this Shabbat of song, Akashura, which is connected to the 10th song, which that's masculine, Yeshno, there is the completion of all of the songs up to now. Milamata Lamaila, from below to above. That this is the ultimate song of the Jewish people to God, the ultimate expression of longing of the Jewish people to God. In addition to this, is also felt the longing and the unification from the revelation of God from above to below. That's going to be the number 10, and even more, the essence of God, which is above the number 10. The number 10 is just God's expression of his unification with us. But what about God himself? That's above the number 10, and that's what we talked about before. That's the number 11. That was the first two paragraphs. We talked about the number 11, the 11 journeys that it should have taken the Jewish people from Mount Sinai to the land of Israel. Instead, it took them 42 journeys. Like it says, that's the number 11, is the number 1, the oneness of God, which gave the 10 commandments and gave the 10 utterances to create the world. It creates the 10 spherot. That's the number 1. God, Ant, Uchad, God, you are one, but not a numerical one. Something like the 11 journeys that they should have taken from Mount Sinai to Israel. God took them, Derech HaMidbar, Mem Shana, instead he took them 40 years. Like we said before. Yesh L'Kasher said we can also attach this to what it says in Shir HaShirim, the song of King Solomon. As King Solomon wrote a book called Shir HaShirim. It's a very short book. It only has 8 chapters in it. And it's all songs. You want to call it poetry, but it's not poetry. These are the deepest mysteries of the Torah. The deepest mysteries of the Torah, which there's no simple meaning to the sentence. If you see, it seems to be talking about a love song between a man and a woman, maybe King Solomon and his wives or something like that. It says anyone who says that is how do you say, the opposite of the truth. King Solomon wrote 8 chapters, a song between God and the Jewish people and the Jewish people and God. That's the song. And it's called the Song of Songs. It says all the other books of the Torah are holy. And the Song of Songs, this 8-chapter book that King Solomon wrote, this is called Holy of Holies. Kapirish of Marsha, like the Marsha writes, Marsha of Shlomo Deret. He was one of the greatest, holiest Jews ever to live. It says the Eser Shirin, that the 10 songs that were in the world. There were 10 songs that the Jewish people sang, and one they will sing. And this is each one is higher than the other one. And this one, Song of Songs, is higher than all of them. So the highest of all the 10 songs is Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs. But one second, we said that the highest of all of them is the one that Mashiach is going to sing. So it says, so this one is above all the other 10, since that all the other songs are that the Jewish people sang, beginning with the song they sang going out of Egypt and going across the sea. All the songs are holy. So the 10th one is also holy. The one that Mashiach is going to sing in the days, it says, nevertheless, above all of them is the Song of Songs. Number 11 is the Song of Songs of King Solomon, Kodesh Kodeshim. That the relevance of Shir HaShirim, which we even say nowadays, you can say it, that's even higher than the 10th song, which Mashiach is going to sing. How can that be? Mashiach is going to sing the song, it's only going to be revealed then. And the Song of Songs was revealed by King Solomon. That was when the first temple was built. Huh? The first temple was built how long ago? Was it like what? How long ago was it? 2,800 years ago. Huh? Almost 3,000 years ago. He, it is, ki, lefi shabo, that in it was made the completion of all of the songs now, call aliyot, all of the elevations from below to above. That's the Song of Songs of King Solomon. It expresses the ultimate expression of the Jews' longing for God. Kefishim mitkashrim, how it is joining with the new song in the future, the song that Mashiach is going to sing, or God is going to sing in the future. Shenergeshes gama devekas, that you can feel also how much God desires us and how we become unified. But the Song of Songs somehow or other is above all of them. Nevertheless, comes Shir Chadash, a new song, which is masculine. That's going to be in the future, which this is above all of the 10 songs. This is the Shir Shekol in Yano is Hedvekos Biskalos in Mahusov Atzmuso, total unification with the oneness of God. That's the number 11. And that's what the Song of Songs is talking about. King Solomon's is talking about the unification, which is above all 10. What does it cause? What is it that causes God to love the Jewish people so much and causes the Jewish people to love God so much? What is this? That's the number 11. That's the essence of God. That's where the Jewish people come from. And that is expressed in this book, The Song of Songs by King Solomon. That's the level of godliness which it says, Antu Chad, God, you are one, but not a numerical one. Okay, so this is, in one way, it's very mystical and very high stuff, but on the other hand, it's not so mystical and high, because here we have the Jewish people are in the world, and God, that's revealed, and God creates the world that's sort of revealed. You know, I mean, here we have a world, and, you know, it could be that God creates it. Could be. You know, it could be that it just popped up on its own. Could be. But on the other hand, there is a very definite possibility, logically, that God is creating it. So those two things are sort of revealed. But the love of the Jewish people to God, that's concealed. And that comes out to expression. And the love of God to us is even more concealed. But on the other hand, it's not so concealed, because here we are, Jewish people, right? Like I've said before, it says we're one sheep surrounded by 70 wolves for 2,000 years, hungry wolves. And here we are. And the wolves they keep changing all the time. The wolves and the Jewish people still remain the same. And so God's love for us is also pretty amazing. It says in the future, therefore, in the middle of all of this confusion, there have been 9 times when God has really revealed himself to the Jews, and everyone has sung songs of thanks to God. But the final one will be my Mashiach. But what is behind all this dynamics of love, of yearning, the Jewish people for God and God yearning for God, and the unity of both of them? That's what's called the Song of Songs. That's the number 11. That's pure essence of God, which is not above and it's not below. That's everywhere. The essence of all reality is the relationship between God and the Jewish people. And that's the Song of Songs, which is expressed in King Solomon. That's like the number 11, the glue which holds this whole entire business of the 10 songs together, and God and us. That's this essence connection between God and the Jewish people. Alpi and more, like we said before, we can also explain the attachment of this week's Torah portion, Bashalach. We're talking about splitting of the sea. And Yitro, when next week's Torah portion, when we talk about Yitro, that he was the king of idolatry, he became converted. He converted to Judaism. The Tochen, that's the whole idea. It was also Moses' father-in-law. His father-in-law, he married his daughter. The Tochen is a man this time. What's the time? Now let's talk about the time of the year, the calendar. The 10th day of Shvat. That's today. The 10th day of Shvat is the day that the previous Rebbe passed away in 1950. Now we know that Tzaddikim never really leave the world, but nevertheless, the fact of the matter is that the previous Rebbe was not seen after that. And the Rebbe, his son-in-law, our Rebbe, took his place. So now the connection, all this that we're talking about is coming in this week, but all these things come together, the singing, the song on the sea, and the war with Amalek. That's the end of this week's Torah portion. All these hints at Mashiach, etc. It all occurs in this week, which this week is the 10th day of Shvat. The 10th day of Shvat in 1950 was when the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe passed away at the age of 70 years old. And 1 year after that, 1 year and a day after that, on the 11th day of Shvat, our Rebbe took over. He assumed the position of the filling of the seat of the previous Rebbe. The month of Shvat is the 11th month of the year. If you start counting from Nisan, from Passover. That's called Ashtei Asar Chodesh Hu Chodesh Shvat. Is the 11th month. This is the month of Shvat. What does it say in Zechariah, the prophet Zechariah? That is relevant especially to the future redemption. Why? Because the future redemption will be revealed, this number of 11. The one which is above the 10 Sfirot, one which is above the 10 Commandments. The oneness of God will be revealed. Number 11. And therefore, from the month of Shvat, we come to the last month of the year, the 12th month, which is Adar. And the month of Adar is the redemption miracle of Purim. Purim was a redemption, very strange, was a redemption from a saying of Akati Achash Abdi Achashverosh Anan. The holiday of Purim is the happiest holiday of the year, but we don't say Hallel. Why? Because we really, even though we were saved from Achashverosh, we were saved from the decree, but the decree we were saved from, but we weren't saved from Achashverosh. We're still under the non-Jews. Umismach geula legeula, and we want to make the redemption of Purim right next to the redemption of Passover. Right? Passover is in the month of Nisan. That's the first month of the year, and when Purim is, that's the last month of the year. So Purim, which is the last month of the previous year, goes into the next year. And Passover, that's Nisan. That in it the Jewish people were redeemed from Egypt, and it says in Nisan we're going to be redeemed again. Like it says, like the days of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. One of the explanations is that the future redemption is going to come in the same month. Shvat, in the month of Shvat, which that's the 11th month of the year, we come from the 10th day of the month. To the 11th day of the month. 11th day of the month, it says that's the day, Echad Asar Yom Micharev. That's how the book of Deuteronomy begins. The Jewish people were only 11 days journey from Mount Sinai. They were only 11 days journey, but because they sinned with the golden calf and etc. other sins, is they had to go around for 40 years. So it says that's the number 11. That's the number 11 that we've been talking about before. 11, which is the oneness of God revealed in the 10 sfirot and his 10 utterances. That's the month of Shvat. What's the Rebbe talking about? He wants us not to take the world at face value. He wants us to see that the world itself is giving us messages, hinting, giving us hints at something much, 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 much more real and deep and actual than what we see with our eyes. So what we see with our eyes is a date. Every day there's a date. You look at a calendar, there's dates. Says the Rebbe, but the date is telling us something. The 11th month of the year is telling us about the number 11. The number 11 is the oneness of God, which will be revealed in all of the 10 utterances that God created the world with, all the 10 sfirot that the world is made from. That's the number 11. That's this month of Shvat. That's the month that the previous Rebbe passed away, and the month where the Rebbe a year later took over his place. Yesh lo will say, if we can add, and the whole purpose is to bring Mashiach. The Rebbe said that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe is the Mashiach, and that he himself is just an extension of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. We can add on that the explanation of the number 11 regarding the whole month of the 11th month, the 11th day of the 11th month, that's when the Rebbe took over 1 year, the 11th day of the 11th month. Number one, that the aspect of 11, Echad Asar, is in a way of 11th day. Day means that it shines, revealed. Right? We take it for granted that the sun shines as is daytime, but really daytime is a big miracle. Who made the sun shine? What? So it says day is a time when we can see. Al Shem the or v'gilei. If you've ever been in a place where it's totally black, like in a forest or something, or all the lights go out, it becomes a bit scary. Right? It becomes very scary, and it's very hard to move. It's very hard to do anything. You don't know what's in front of you. You're even afraid to call out. Maybe you're going to call out, some big bear is going to come jumping at you. You'll know where you are. So you become scared. As soon as there's light, oh, you're happy. The birds are chirping, and you see the colors in the sky and the flowers and everything. Light is a big miracle. The same thing is the light of God. Like it says, Vayikra Elokim Or Yom, that God called light, he called the daytime. Light existed before day. The difference between, that's the 11th day. And the difference between, that's what it says, what the Jewish people were 11 days from Israel when they received the Torah, 11 days. It says, Achiluk, the difference between the difference between a month and a day, chodesh, and a day. A month is 30 days, and a day is just 1 day. Is a chodesh is attached to how the moon goes. The month is attached to the going of the month of the moon, and the daytime and nighttime. This is only attached to connected to the sun. So from this we see that the month, the 11th month, this indicates on 11th how it is revealed to the receiver, us, the moon, and the daytime when it says 11, that's relevant to the 11th day of the month. That's us receiving. And 11 days, that's referring to the giver, God. That's like the sun, giver. Who is the giver? That's the mashpia. So when it says from 11 days, it's unifying between the receiver, which is the number 11, the day of the month, and the giver, which is days. So there's another example. So when it says 11 days, this is the 11th month and the 11th day of the month. So this is another example of the unification of God with the world. God is the giver, the world is the receiver. From this 11th day, we come to day Echad. What's the numerical value of Echad? 13. 11 Echad Asar. This is stressing also this year that the 13th day of the month comes to be Shabbat. That's the way it's going to be this year. That from Shabbat comes immediately to the first day of the week, which that is where God is one in the world. And this shows on that God, you are one. So everything in the world is pointing to God. It's all pointing to the future revelation. The days of the month, the number 11, Shabbat. And the days of the month, the first day of next week, that's going to be Parshat Yitro, is the 14th day. That from it we come to the 15th day. That this hints at the end of our Torah portion. This week's it says Yad al Kes Yad, that we have to fight against Amalek, and it says God's hand is royal. God rose his hand in his oath on the throne of Yud Hey. Yud Hey is one of the names of God, but it's also the numerical value of 15. So the 15th day of the month also sends this message that this is the idea of refining the Amalek in order to make God's name complete. The first two letters of God's name are Yud Hey, that's 15, and the last two letters are Vav Hey, that's 11. Joining the level of Yud Hey, that's the beginning of next week when we read Parshat Yitro. That's going to be the 15th day of the month. And Yud Aleph, which that's talking about this week's Torah portion, which is talking about the oneness of God being revealed in the world, the one which is above 10. Excuse me, I just have something. Oh, my knee. That's really giving me trouble. Okay. If so, next week we're also coming to what's called the New Year of Trees. And this we're going to talk about, God willing, tomorrow. Let's talk about this tomorrow. What is the Rebbe? What have we learned today? And today we have learned that God wants to be revealed in the world, and the Jewish people want God to be revealed in the world. And that's the whole idea of song. That the Jewish people sing songs to God, especially when God reveals himself and does miracles for the Jews. And God sings the final song, the 10th song, which that's hinted at by King Solomon's Song of Songs. That's going to be the essence of God revealed in the world. That's what's waiting for us. It should happen any second. God forbid it should. God forbid it should delay even more than a second with Moshiach now. Now let's do the Yom Yom for today.